Gentleman got a bye run in the first battle. He's going to be seeing Nick Novak. It's an all BMW battle. Can he take him out? It is Dmitriy Brutskiy. Piloting the Liquid Moly S14 chassis, it is Brian Wadman.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Masao, Japan, Pinku style. Finally got the champion. And also, again, Brian, before we get into it, man, I'm not sure what you guys' relationship is, but the first thing Dmitry said when I asked him to be on is, hey, man, you got to get my guy Brian on, man. So I'll let you guys, share your relationship, man. But he definitely value you as a friend, man. And that's one of the things, guy just won a championship, man. And I asked him to be on a podcast, and he was down for it, and had a friend there too, man. So I really like guys like that. We haven't met each other or talked to each other, and it's just the small stuff like that that I really stands out to me, and it means a lot to me, man. So this initially, man, it's just he's a good friend, man. He's a really good friend, really good guy. But I mean, just getting into it, man. Again, Dmitry first, and then Brian second. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Where you're from, for the guys who haven't seen you before, met you, where you're from, how you got into the cars, and then we'll go from there, man.
Hi, I'm Dmitriy Brutskiy, champion of Pro 2 2020, and I drive BMW M3. How I got into drifting, I don't know. I always liked cars, liked racing, any type of racing. I loved going to the tracks and watch or participate in any stuff. And drifting on my friend 15, and I went to spectate. Just one event only took me go for one ride alone, and I knew I wanted a car. So the next week, I bought a Z3, and I drifted that for 2 years. And during that period, I met Brian, and we started attending as many events as possible together, because it kind of we saw each other as same type of driving style, aggressive, and just didn't give a shit about the cars. Just wanted to see time and drive. So and became good friends and teammates.
Awesome.
And then as I got a little bit further, really I like competition, so I got into competition and grew from there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, originally from Belarus. I'm in USA since 2001, since I was 15.
Okay.
And immigrant in America. Just living it. Yes.
Hey, man, I think that's some of the hardest working people, man. The guys are not from there, because again, you see, I'm prior military, Air Force, and I've been to Iraq and everything, and you see people from other areas when they get to America, and they really see how spoiled some Americans are, and the stuff we have there. It's like, little stuff for us, or things we don't care about, or a car that's trash, to somebody else outside of America, man. It's a lot more. It means more. So I think definitely. I mean, Americans work hard too, but I think guys from outside of America, man, really work hard, man. So again, and Brian, on you, man, how did you get into cars and eventually link up with Dmitry?
So very similar story. Was always into cars, younger. I thought things were cool. I liked every brand. I liked everything. I did a little bit of drag racing. I actually did SPL, which most people don't know, for, car audio. And I was getting into street bike stunt, and I had a bad accident, which left me with like 40% use of my hands. So I chilled out a little bit after that with the extreme sports, settled down with my wife, had a kid, and we were out just driving around looking for something to do, seen a car show, pulled up in, and it happened to have a drifting demo going on. Within a couple of weeks, I knew I had to have a car, scooped a car, and just got right into it, And like Dmitry said, that's how we met. Couple events we each did in different areas, and then we met up at an event, and, we were both new drivers, but we just clicked and started driving together, and been drifting together ever since. Yeah.
And what state was the demo in, the drift demo?
I'm in Connecticut. Dimitri's like an hour from me.
Okay.
In Mass, Springfield.
Was it the Falcon show off, or was it a who was running the event?
No, this was just a small grassroots thing done by Ready Set Drift.
Okay.
Lime Rock Park, which is 15 minutes from one of my places. And I knew it was a close place. They said they ran there a few times, like 5-6 times a year. I said, oh, I'm definitely getting a car. I was going sideways before I knew what it was. I wasn't looking at, drift videos, but I grew up, I had a Monte Carlo, 86 Monte Carlo V8.
Yeah.
And guys would do burnouts in parking lots, and I did 1 or 2, and I'm like, this is boring. So I just started driving all around. I was drifting before I knew what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man, because the reason I asked about the Falcon show off is because that was, I think, 99, 2000 was when I first seen my first drift video. I think it was Street Fire or something like that. And then I got into Initial D, and that kind of started my catalyst for drifting. And my first demo was Falcon Drift Show off of JR. It was all the older guys, man. They were there, and this is back when JR had his S13, SR20, and he just got Falcon on it and stuff like that. And when I seen that first event, the tires, the smoke, the smells, the everything, man, my blood was boiling. And I drag racing. I was one of those guys. I started in Honda, and then that kind of got boring. And I'm like, it costs too much money.
I still got my Honda that I used to drag race.
I got a bunch of them. I just picked up an EF last week, and I'm going to put an H22 in a turbo.
My biggest success was it was a Del Sol EG2 with Type 5. Yeah, but it had also EK front end on it. So
the Del Sol at that time was a little bit too expensive. Then it came down, but EF EGs is what I started in, and when I got to drifting is right when K Series engine became like the popular engine, and that's when I got my 240, and I kind of put drifting to the back, man. But yeah, man, that's crazy right there, man. But Dmitry, basically, man, before we get too deep in it, I want to definitely touch on the Prospec stuff and everything and all the stuff coming up. You guys seen that recently with the rule change, and I want to talk to you about that. But before we get to that, man, you of course you got the championship this season. How was everything getting ready for the season, and how was the logistics due to Corona and stuff like that for you guys?
I mean, Brian owns a big rig, truck and trailer, so that's how we travel to events. And I had a couple friends who was CDL licensed people that they were willing to help us and drive the truck from place to place. And a couple local closer events, we drove to it, and the further ones we flew out. We are both independent business owners, so we didn't have to basically, take any time off from like work or something. I don't think it was a big deal. The Corona, it just sucks for everybody. We had not as many spectators, and a lot of things were restricted, not as open as we would like to get used to it.
Yeah.
But I think just like everybody else, everybody in the world experienced some inconvenience with that stuff.
No doubt. And again, I like to put all the stuff at the front for as like promotion and stuff. Both of you guys collectively, what do you do for your business? And Brian, what do you do for your business? And just promote that or whatever you want to do with that, man.
Sure. I own a roofing business in Connecticut called Elite Roofing. Gotcha. I started out of a Honda Accord and started from scratch, so that's my baby. That's my main thing. And then I also deliver, about 5 years ago, we started Elite Energy. That's delivering home heating oil and propane, and we do service work. So that's all of like the top left of Connecticut, Litchfield County. So gotcha. That's what I got going on, and a few other little things, but those are the two main ones.
Gotcha. And Dmitry, what do you do for your business?
Residential construction, remodeling, roofing, siding, building, flipping houses. So
gotcha.
Basically similar.
Fucking hard. Basically, in a nutshell, guys out there who are listening or watching, man, fucking hard workers. Because that shit, working outside. I'm from Baltimore, and and I live in Japan, man. Where I'm at is that's up the north. It's snow. I'm up 4 in the morning every morning shoveling snow and doing it. It's just me. I run the whole operation, man. So like that's again, even without even knowing you guys personally, man, just knowing the type of work you do, it's not like you're sitting behind a desk like counting, numbers or papers and shit like that. You guys are working hard and you're also progressing and stuff and drifting and doing all that stuff right there. So that's more of a kind of a extracurricular, but it's not. I know it's a life, but it's the one thing guys don't know out there. You just won the championship. You can speak on it in a second. Guys just figure out when they get pro license or stuff like that all the doors are going to open up and all the doves are going to fly from the background and everything's going to be free. It's like, all right, cool. The next step. So Speak on that,
Good
man.
luck.
How's that been for you, man? Like after the championship and everything, and the season was what it was, and came down to the wire, and also, man, that the last second, it was like a kind of a toss up, right there, and then the guy crashed out, and you were like, it was cool, man, to see that. What was your emotions in the last like 30 minutes of that event for you?
If I go back into the event, what I was experiencing. I was honestly speaking, I don't have anything against anybody, but I was really bummed about the call that was made against me, or maybe that I a little bit overdid it in driving and how I took myself out. Or, I mean, one thing I can say that the head judge voted for me, and he was the one who explaining what they want to see from us in that area, you know. The drivers meeting, he was the one who explaining what we should do as a lead driver, as a chase driver, and I think I did everything what he asked for, and I expected something a little bit different from the lead car, So I don't really think it was my fault 100%. So that's why I was like really bummed that I didn't go all the way and didn't finish on the podium, as a final and as a champion, because I had probably one of the best laps in practice. All 3 practices that we had, like, I know you don't win anything in the practice, but I just felt so good. Like, that's the only event I had no issues with the car, no issues with my driving, and I just had so much fun, like, in driving in practice. I was really ready to go all the way and take it to the top, and just that situation took me out. So I was like really upset about that. But of course, winning championship kind of eased it up a little bit. If I had lost the championship, I would probably lost it.
Yeah, man, it was nuts to see the live. The one thing I'll commend FD on, man, is the live stream from to this season compared to maybe 4 seasons ago. It was unwatchable, and now it was perfect timing for the stream to be good. This was actually my first season back watching. I said the last time I watched FD was Tanner Faust won the championship. And, it was just I was in Japan doing my thing and trying to do my stuff in pro. And I was like, man, I got to get back on FD, because honestly, from a business aspect, I'm in Japan, but the money is actually in the States. The eyes in their States. Japan is, they still use fax machine. So that'll let you know for business. I had to get a fax machine 2 years ago just to email HKS. And I was emailing them. Sorry about that. Fax them. I was emailing them like, hey, I want to get this East camshaft, blah, blah, blah. He's, hey, because you faxed this to me. I'm like, dude, I'm emailing you right now. And so Japan is very old school. D1 is actually declining and dying. So it's weird that I'm in Japan, but I want to drive in America. Like, and to watch you guys this season, man, again, this was a Pro 2, came out the gate swinging. They had a great showing. Seattle was a little bit different, and with the rain and all that stuff like that. But the season, I'll tell you guys straight up, man. Again, I told all my guys, I told Love, I told Hirsch, from a guy in Japan, you guys are doing really good over there, man, and it's looking really good. And the Japanese want to go over there and drive in America, so that really means something about the way they're running it. You guys' driving style, the car builds. There's really like a thin line between Pro 2 car and a Pro car now. And there's like, and they're changing the rules. So we'll talk on that, man. And then Brian, because I didn't get a chance to look you up or anything, man. As far as your driving, do you compete in FD or are you? Yeah,
same thing. My first year in Pro 2 this year.
Okay. Sorry, but I didn't mean it. I don't mean it as disrespect or anything. I just just getting to learn you and everything. So for yours, this is your first season in FD Pro 2. Now in Prospec. What was your feeder series for both of you guys? I'll put it to you first, Brian. But what did you do to get into your license in Pro 2?
It was actually a U.S. Drift shootout.
Got you.
And I actually got first there. Yep.
Good stuff.
There was 3 more times that I had to go through also to get that first in a double elimination, and I didn't. If I remember correctly, I didn't lose any runs, so I still have my second.
Got you. And what car? A little bit about your car, man. What are you driving primarily for your competition car?
Pro car and what I call my street car is both S14, both LS supercharger on the pro car, around 700 horse.
Got you.
And just the LS S14 for the play car, demo car. Cool.
I just wanted to put that for guys who, because again, that's one thing about me, man. I keep it real. I I've been here again 12 years. I got a shop. I've been all over the magazines, but there's still a ton of people who don't know of me or whatever. So I don't assume that guys, know everything and everything. And then for both of you guys, again, I'll put it Dmitry first. The changes. I know you mentioned right away, and I was me and Lexus King were very happy that you mentioned you're going to come back and you want to be that guy in Prospec that guys regard as, hey man, this is going to be a tough run, because I see everybody else getting the points and then they bounce. They try to go up to Pro 1 and it doesn't work out and it eventually disappears. So I know you said you're going to hang around. Is that still your feeling right now? You're going to hang around in Prospec, or what's your plans?
I don't know. I'm not as solid on that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I asked.
With everything that changes,
yeah.
I wish I had the money to do both Pro 1 and Pro 2.
Right.
Kind of focus on Pro 2, maybe, be a contender to win another championship and just get a little bit more seat time in Pro 1, feel it out, or vice versa. I don't know. As of right now, it's hard to say. But with the rule changes and everything, I think my car is still good to go in Prospec.
Right.
But I don't know. A lot of events is actually on the East Coast in Pro 1, and it's won't be that bad for me to try and run Pro 1. So we'll see.
And Brian, what's your thoughts on everything with the changes and stuff like that? Is it going to affect your car much, or how's it going to go for you?
It doesn't affect my car at all this year, so I'm happy about that. I do feel horrible to the guys that got to get rid of their sequential, but I've never driven a sequential, so I know they get a little bit more off the line with it, and it's a little bit easier to shift, but I don't see it as a huge advantage. What I had brought up, which is dumb because they won't do it, but the guys that have it should just be grandfathered in that they can run the damn thing, or at least this year with just a few months to get ready. Right. It's such an expense to run a season, to have to add, could cost somebody like 10 grand to switch to, I don't know. It's tough.
Right. Yeah, because it's a lot of stuff that goes into that. A lot of guys don't know how, they're like, how is it sequential, but you can actually clutch. And it's like a lot of different things that go there with the guys who don't know about these gearboxes. And those gears get expensive for the guys who are watching and listening. So to get you can't just put a junkyard box behind your power you're running, the power you're running, Dmitry, and like expect it to last, because those things are not going to last too long. And so I can foresee being a lot of transmission issues, honestly, but guys having to run older transmissions in the crunch, or I can see also guys like maybe missing the gear and then like, oh man, I missed this and that. And I can see a lot of drama unfolding potentially because of this change. But then I did see it, they're going to roll out link stuff for 2002 and then 2023, sorry, 22. In 2023, they're looking at getting to the what is it? The gear, the steering column and the pedals or something like that. Yeah. So that they're rolling it out slowly, but the link thing. I was just talking to I had Mike Power and Lex on yesterday, and it's a thing where it's like F1 NASCAR, where to be legitimized, they're getting those title sponsors now, and that's one of the things where it's cool, but it's unfortunate. So now you got to drop Helltech if you got Helltech, and you got to drop Motec if you got that. So what's your feelings on the ECU pushing and the theories behind it, both of you guys?
Well, first of all, I'm not a car builder or tuner. I get my cars ready to go from Mike Essa. But I totally, I can see both sides. I just heard a little bit of Cam Wells explaining and some other people saying that there's most of the motorsports, other type of motorsports, they have a ECU spec and a lot of,
right.
Limited or, it has to be a spec.
Right.
So I see where that's coming from, but not to, I don't really know how valuable or how much Link ECU is close to a Motec. I know Motec is one of the best and really expensive. And I know a few guys that run Motec, so for them, it's a really downgrade. Yeah. I feel like going to Link ECU. I run AEM, and for me, I don't know. I like more simplified stuff. Yeah, I'm not a geek guy that I even went from drive-by-wire to drive-by-cable. I don't need my ECU to rev up for me. I can hit the throttle myself when I need to. Yeah. So as long as my car runs and whatever gives them the data that they need, I wouldn't really care. Especially they're giving ECUs to the drivers who run the whole season in 2021.
That is cool.
And they offer some tech support and other stuff. So in a way, it would be nice, but for the guys who really have a better stuff maybe and they know how to work with it, it sucks for them, I would assume.
And what's your thoughts on it, Brian?
I'll hit the whole list real quick
Yeah,
just
go
to
ahead.
get out there. Let's start with the sequential. So I was trying to look around and I asked a couple of people, and I guess there was 3, 4, maybe 5 people with sequentials. So it's not horrible. You know what I mean? It was only less than 25% of the field is going to have to change their transmission. So a lot of people don't know that. Figured get that out there. That change isn't that big of a deal. Now hitting to the next ones. The pedals, I've had problems in my S14 with my pedal. In my pro car, when I first started driving it, I'm the same as Dmitry. I buy a car that's done, do a couple of tweaks, and roll. I'm not a person that builds a car and stuff like that. So, it's really going to suck for people that buy a Pro 1 car that's, getting retired, and then you're going to have to put 20 grand into it to change to the spec rules.
Yeah.
But the people that are building it, it'll be fine for. But just to hit on the pedals, a lot of these cars have problem with pedals, but I guess maybe we can modify it, or, the stops and whatever else you need to do to hit that. So not a huge deal. The column doesn't really bother me. I mean, again, my car, stock column, stock pedals. So I'm fine for the next year. Then hit on the link. It's tough because a lot of people have relationships with a tuner that's only going to tune certain things.
Right.
So now they're going to have to change tuner, and you're trusting anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000, $30,000 motor on something you've never worked with before. It's tough, but at the same time, I appreciate, everything FD does and more sponsors coming in to help the series grow. So it's going to be what it's going to be, and people are going to do what they got to do, The biggest for me and the weirdest thing is the radiator. Coming out of the rear, because, so many of these cars run it because things get hot and it's tight up there. I don't see how that's really going to cut any cost, but, Kevin's a good dude. He'll figure things out, and they'll all figure everything out, and we'll make it work.
Yeah, I just picked up picked up the rules off the floor. Actually, I had yesterday, and again, if you look at it on paper, it's rolled out over 3 years, almost 2 to 3 years, and everything. So it's not a abrupt change.
Right.
When I first went on, of course, Maximus and everything, and guys were like, belly aching on air. I thought it was all at once. Like everything tomorrow has to be changed. Column, pedals, transmission. Like I thought they were doing it over. So I see this is over, a year. Then, like you said, if you do the whole 2021 season, you'll pretty much get that ECU given to you. If you do half the season, whatever, you'll get a racer's discount. So that they're not leaving everybody high and dry. You got time to do the more expensive stuff. But it's one of those things again, man. It's going towards it's becoming a professional. If you run for F1 or NASCAR or whatever or WRC, they have rules and you got to follow them if you want to compete in their series and have a potential to win the championship and stuff like that. So I think a lot of guys just got to realize, man, FD has changed. The time is changing. Adam LZ coming on. Of course, some of you guys may be tired of hearing his name or whatever, but he's came on. He's brought more eyes. He's probably brought more sponsors, and they're going up, and that's what you want to see. It's been more legitimized, because now if you tell the guys you're a drift champion, they're like, what's that? Like you just walk around, or they don't even know what a drift. Like me explaining drifting to somebody, I'm like Tokyo Drift. They're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool, man. That's it, and I just walk away. Because they don't is trying to explain the angle, and I tell guys, I'm like, if you, because I come from drag racing and I got into grip racing, time attack and stuff, and then I got into drifting, and I tell guys, look, drifting is the same line, same angle, everything is grip. You're just exceeding the coefficient of friction, so you're going for that same clipping point. You're going for the same in and out if the judge want it, and they kind of get it, but they don't. So I mean, you guys' thought on drifting and the legitimacy and the motorsports overall. How do you see it growing, and what do you see coming out in the next 10 years? Just either one can answer me.
I'll hit it. Well, first, how I explain it. I mean, I just pull out my phone and show them a video. It's just too hard to kind of explain to somebody. One thing I really like to show people, Von Getten Jr. was in his trailer one time and he showed the track. I forget what edit it is, but it's a really nice long edit, and I saved that part of the video. and he explains it in 30 seconds or 1 minute. He explains lead and chase, and that's a good one to show people if you want to explain drifting to somebody. But I mean, it's growing. There's no doubt about it. Of course, LZ brought a ton of people in, and I got a lot of respect for that kid. He's actually from Connecticut here. Oh, yeah. I don't know him well. I've driven with him a handful of times, at places and talked to him a few times. But when he was getting all that hate, I just thought it was kind of jealousy.
Oh, dude,
the kid,
straight up,
he's a hard worker, man. You know what I mean? Like, everybody thinks, oh, he just does YouTube. Nah. All right, dude, make a YouTube channel. Nah. There's 8-year-olds whose parents do it, who make millions. So, don't be jealous. Pick up a camera. Go ahead. Here, take my phone.
Yeah, man. A lot of guys. What's your thoughts on it, Dmitry, man? How do you explain drifting to people and stuff like that?
Similar. I showed them picture. I told them, listen, when you break the rear end loose and you start sliding out of control, you actually control that chaos. You actually make sure the car keeps staying sideways and without straightening out, and you go throughout the course, hitting all the zones, all the clipping points while you sliding sideways. So that's simple, as I can explain it and show the video, obviously.
Yeah. It's the cool thing now with the phones and everything, people can see it and look up and see what it is. But, yeah, man, I think it's going good. Myself, I've been, I haven't really told you guys about me. I from Baltimore, I came in Japan 2008 by military. Spent 3 years in Iraq doing stuff. And after I got back from my third deployment in Iraq, it was a day before the big earthquake in Japan. So after that, I just decided to get out of the military, did contracting, worked with fighter jets for about 2 years. And then I started my business. And I just $5,000, man. $5,000 is what got me started. And 5 years later, I run an international business, performance-based, anything performance, Nissan, whatever. But the thing about it, I haven't built a single drift car for anybody else. Like, it's weird being a drifter. Japanese kind of see drifters as hacks or whatever. So a lot of the guys, so now I'm having to build grip cars and go out there and get the guys to come in. So, and honestly, most drifters here, they got to do their own work, because if you don't do your own work in Japan, you really can't do it. The shops they're a little spendy. The parts are expensive still. So it's not easy in Japan, believe it or not. It's actually just as hard. And Japanese are not as opening to drifters as you would think. So it's a struggle here. I got a lot of cars because guys, they get into cars. Military guys can only have one car at a time. So they'll, get an S13, for example. They want to take the engine out. I'll take the engine out for them. I'll take the chassis, and I got spare cars and everything. So exporting, I started doing that a little bit ago, about 2 years ago. So primarily my business is performance work, fabrication, and exporting. That's how I make a living and everything. And I don't get to play my own cars. I haven't drifted in a competition in 5 years because I've just been putting all my cash there and everything. So I don't care about D1 anymore. Guys out there are like, oh, you're in Japan, dude. D1 was at one time regarded as high, but again, FD. Kumakuba went over to you guys and watched around last year, and it was like, dude, the cars are better, the cars are faster, the drivers are much better than they were when we went back there in 2001 to do the D1 driver search thing. And so you guys, the guys over in Jamestown, those guys over in Europe, the drift masters, like, it's changing where Japan is they're no longer the top anymore, man. So how do you guys feel about, like, as far as the Japanese drifters, European drifters? What's your ideas on? Because people are going to say, who's the best, man? We're all competitive. So who's the best?
Everybody got their own style.
Yeah.
Everybody got their own thing. I would love to I would love to jump over there, and that's a goal of mine, to get out that way. And
I got cars, man.
Check out
I got cars.
And, I would love to come out there and do something like that. Me and Dmitry a couple times talked about just building a stock Z, just a couple of things, because we were entering like team type competitions, and we just wanted like fun cars, because our cars are aggressive. So, those FD level cars, we can't just take them out and run all day events with the things, because they'll get hot and they're so expensive to keep up sometimes. So
tires. 2 laps and new tires. I want something I can run a whole session, 40 minutes at least, on one set of tires.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. I just tell guys over here, my biggest thing is I'm a if I had to pick one chassis, it would be a S13. If I had to pick one engine for life, it would be RB26 or 25. I've been working with them a bunch. 2Js, 1Js. I work with everything, rotaries, everything. I have my preference. I don't care for SR20s. I just don't. They're not reliable in my personal opinion. You take a 1J RB or something out the box, they'll last longer. And the biggest thing is, as long as you have a clutch fan on it, I do at least 20 to 25 minute sessions straight drifting, and then I come off and do whatever. And in Japan, it's different. There's no during events. We don't really call it events because I can go to the track right after I finish with you guys. If I had the time and I had the car loaded up, it's snowing right now. I can go to the track 45 minutes, but it's snow there right now. So there's no, you can just rock up anytime, any day and drift if you can afford it and if you had the time to. So you get I guess you get spoiled. But man, it's also I drift by myself too. So you guys being together and being on the same frequency and everything, it complements you guys. But yeah, it's a little bit tough over here. I don't have a team. I don't have a lot of stuff that guys have back in the States. So it's more solo, and it's fine. But again, just putting it out there, man. If you guys definitely want to get over here, just get with me, talk with me. I could definitely organize cars and things like that. And pretty much you just show up and slide, man. Probably won't be as good as your BMW, man, but it'll be cool. So,
and like I said, I've been looking to drive something, something I can really need to kick some clutch.
Yeah.
With high horsepower, tires and everything. And talking about the style, Japanese style, Euro style, and here in America, in the States, I basically met drifting is in 2015-16. Actually, I just wanted to go sideways, like Brian said. I was drifting in the snow here and there, and I didn't know that it's called drifting.
Right.
But then my friends, we were off-roading, four-wheeling with the guy. The guy said, "Oh, next weekend I'm going drifting." I went with him, and that's how I found out about drifting. But only in 2017, I think, is when I really found out about FD, and I went to one of the Formula Drift events in Canada, which was like 4 or 5 hours away from me. That was my first time in all that high horsepower, a lot of small, all the drive. What was drifting for me is all about, and I'm like, man, I want to be one of those drivers one time, drive the wall and doing a lot of smoke and close tandems and everything. In 2017, 2018 I did Pro AM, 2019, and during that period of time I heard a lot of people like talking trash about US drifting. I mean FD style drifting. Japan is what it's all about. So yeah, I started looking into Japanese style drifting. I understand, close to stock cars, those JZX 100 and S13s, S14 sliding around in the mountains. That's cool. But then when I started watching Formula Drift Japan, I watched 2018, 19, 20, this 3 years in a row.
Right.
I felt like, it's somewhat in between the best of our Pro AMs and the middle of Pro 2 style driving. No disrespect, but that's what I looked. That's what it looked to me, A lot of guys can't link the track, and I'm like, really? Like, a lot of guys go off track, straighten out. Like, there's only very few close tandems, and I just couldn't understand, like, where is that style? Where's that excitement? It's like Japanese drifting. Like, the track and all those scenes is really nice, and like Brian said, I would like to go drive there. But for me, to compare U.S. drift, American drift and Japanese drift, I more relate to American style drifting.
Gotcha.
And, but then if we talk about European style, I think that's both like American and the Drift Masters. If we talk about Drift Masters, there's a lot of style, like technical courses like Japan and aggressive driving what the US has. So it's like basically best of two worlds right there in Europe.
Right. And what, you got anything to add to that, Brian?
So I didn't grow up on it, I didn't study on it. I have a family, I have a business. I don't watch YouTube videos. I just, when I seen drifting, it looked wild, it looked fun, and that's what I did. I'm used to extreme sports. I used to stunt street bikes, and I ripped my arm off in a motorcycle accident, and I got like 40% use of my hands. That's what I got. So that's as much as my
enough to grip the wheel.
And I seen the car, I seen the cage. I'm like, I can't get hurt in that. Nobody's crashing. I'm getting a car. So I just bought a car, and it came natural because I'm used to sliding around on quads and stuff like that.
Right.
And, I was just all about driving and having fun. In the beginning, I just wanted to, tandem. And then it was fun to get close to people. And then, so I don't know much about that style over there. I love the look of a lot of the cars. I really like the looks out there. I appreciate that's where it came from. I just can't really speak on it because I don't know of it, right. And I don't study it, But I don't knock anything. I'm not even a Ford or a Chevy or this. I like everything, man. If your truck's running and getting you where it needs to go, that truck's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't care for one thing or the other. If you love Japan and that style of drifting, awesome, man. Go there, move there. Emulate that style, do whatever you want. I'm all about people just enjoying what they want to enjoy. But to compare them all, I wouldn't even do it because I don't know enough about that over there. I do. And the other thing is, I'm not just a LS guy. I started with SR20. That's what I bought in an S13. I also had a BMW with a 1JZ in it. And I had all those cars just up until a couple of years ago when I wanted to focus on just one chassis to get myself really similar in one car. Because when I used to go to events, I didn't wrench on vehicles. So I actually started my first drift event. I brought 2 cars because I didn't think the car I bought was going to last.
Right.
So every event I would bring, I bought a 3-car stacker trailer, or that's how I went. My second year I had a 3-car trailer, and I would bring 3 cars to a 2 or 3 day event, and I would just go until one broke. I had my buddy changing tires, so I got more seat time out of one event than people did out of 4, 5 events. I would just go crazy and just I'd just be high off of driving and just keep ripping. So I'm just all about getting out there, driving, and having a blast. And I'm definitely planning on upping the game this year and just going a lot harder.
Awesome. I'll be looking out for you. But first the again, I've been, because I actually had boots on the ground living here in Japan. I didn't move here because I moved here because the military told me I had to go here. I just happened to work out that I got sent to Japan, so I wasn't like, of course I watched the videos. What the guys are referring to is kind of like you guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure how close you follow sports, but like, for example, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, the whole thing about who's better. The thing about it is the guys who were born like LeBron James era, they never watched, or they never went back and watched Jordan play. And I'm old enough that I seen Jordan play actually live. So to see him play live and then also to see LeBron play live or whatever, I play football in college and stuff like that in 3 sports or whatever. So basketball is not my thing, just an example. But what guys are talking about, a lot of the older guys, they're talking about the original D1, like the original D1 where there was no other series before FD came along, before Australia D1 came along. There was all these series now, so guys can see different drivers. So I think, and also some guys never been here, never drifted or anything. They just kind of like fanboys, to be honest. So like they're kind of like have a biased opinion on stuff like that. Just like you, Brian, my opinions are the same thing. Car doesn't matter. The style doesn't matter. I just like to see people do what they like to do, man. So it didn't really bother me much. And guys felt like because I was here, I was pro Japan. And actually, you guys are probably shocked again to hear me say the FD is fucking doing well, man. FD is where everybody want to drive now. That's from my circle of guys I talk to, everybody wants to go to America and drive now because that's where the smoke is, that's where the cars is, that's where the power is. The stream is on point. Like it's looking really good, man. So whatever they're doing over there, just keep doing it. And I'm definitely on board, man. I'm looking to come over there and compete. Probably not this year, but probably next year. And I got pro license here. And Dmitry, you probably recognize King of Europe is where I got my license. King of Europe turned into King of Asia. So I got my license under a European branded company. Came here in Japan in 2015, and everybody kind of talked shit about it because it wasn't D1. So my pro license means nothing to D1. I drove I had Nakamura and Daigo in front of me. Nakamura finished first, Daigo finished second, and another guy named Saito finished third. And I can drive with those guys in that event, but I can't drive with Daigo in D1 because I don't have the D1 license. It doesn't make sense to me, and I'm like, dude, whatever. I'll rank up and do what I got to do to get the license, but it's just not appealing to me anymore. FD Japan is actually more appealing. to be honest. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So on that, man. Because I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. What's your the licensing? What's your thoughts on? Say if you have your, you just won a championship. Brian, you have Pro 2 license now, and do you have enough points to get pro license yet, or you still got to get more?
This year was so tough for me with my car and the spares and everything else. I just didn't know the caliber of car and team I needed there, and I just made so many mistakes. I came out swinging hard in my first round and got top 8 and was looking really sharp. And then after that went downhill for me this year. So I didn't finish in top 8 this year, but next year, or this year I should say now, we're going to hit it. We're going to make it happen. And I think you were asking about how to get in and how I feel about it as far as getting a license. A lot of people talk down on the I don't know. It's weird. There's a couple of different ways to get it here, probably like 10 different series or something like that.
Right.
US Drift is one of the mains, but I think they're mainly shootout. And people were complaining about, everybody's going to cry about something. They're complaining if the shootout, if it's not a series, you shouldn't earn a license and this and that. But there's so many people that hold a license that are never going to come to Pro 2 or Pro Spec because the caliber of car you need, which is kind of maybe what they're trying to lower.
I think so.
But still, if you're running these tracks, I don't know how you're going to go in there with that much less horsepower, and I don't know. I mean,
I think that's what they're trying. You nailed it right there, man. They're trying to. I think they're trying to entice more guys that have a car that's, I guess, like a pro, say a Pro-Am, like say US Drift or whatever spec, that they could do like a little bit of tweaking and get right in there and mix it up. Because right now, I mean, barring Corona, I think the field was limited, and they're trying to get more drivers. Because honestly, in a business aspect, more drivers means more entry purse, more money. Then they kick the money up to the Pro Series. So D1, for example. D1 started a thing back in 2003 called about 2000 maybe 7 or 8 called D1 Divisionals. So this is for guys who wanted to become a D1 street legal driver, which is the feeder to D1 GP. So all they were doing was pretty much, hey dude, if you could do a figure 8, pay us $180 or whatever to enter this event. That money is all going to go up to street legal. Then that money also going to go up to D1 GP. So that's how they did it. And I seen it, and I spent a good amount of money. I didn't do well because I was driving my car daily and going to the event and whatever. I didn't have I didn't do well. It's my fault or whatever. I didn't do well, and I just stopped for a little bit, man. I was like, dude, let me back up and come correct. And when I came correct, my first time, I got my pro license right away, and everything went well. But I will applaud both of you guys, man. Again, dude, like you starting, like you say you got it around 2015, 16. Dude, I've been doing this for a while, dude. I haven't won a single event, nothing, dude. I just, the luck of the draw. I mean, I show up, the shit goes wrong, but I'm not gonna bitch about it and cry about it. It'll eventually come when the time is right, and it'll come. I love it, dude. I like doing it. I like competing, and I never wanted to compete until I did my first event and I got the bug for it, and I was like, dude, I'm a competitive person, man. So I was denying it for a while, and then I was like, fuck, I fucked up. I did this. I missed the gear, and I did this. And next time, and now the competitive driving, I haven't won anything, but my skill level has gone up faster because now I'm going faster. It's like, fuck that. I lost because I was going slow, or I lost because I was scared to shift up to third, or scared to entry in fourth. So now it's like, when I drive with my buddies who are just regular drifters, now you're like, dude, you're so fast. I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it, dude.
Thing is, everybody's a hero in a parking lot. You know what I mean? You when there's no clip points, there's no nothing. Everybody's a hero.
Or telephone poles to hit. Yeah.
That's the thing. And then what pushed me into the competition was I kind of was just getting more and more aggressive, and I never hit pretty much any single person. I'm not the type of person to run in. I like my car clean,
right?
But people were getting worried. Oh, I'll chase you, but I don't want you chasing me. And I'm that's what pushed me into the comp. And to step it back, what you saying you never won and stuff like that. So many people don't realize what goes into it. You need to have the car. You need to have a good day. You need to have so many things line up. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you were busting and working on your car for 2 days straight and didn't get no sleep, you come in there all tired. There's just so much that goes into things that people don't really understand until you get out there. You know,
man. It's
and the pressure too on top of it. A lot of people crush under that.
That's what actually that's a great point right there, man. That's why I like these open conversations, because I get the idea. I don't write anything now. I just like to talk to you guys. What's your when you're like lining up or doing whatever, man? What's your mental? I'll start with Dmitry and go to you, Brian. What's your mental? What do you think about? To be honest, because people will be shocked what people think about. What do you think about before you go into a situation or a pressure run or whatever? What's your thought process?
So obviously, it's hard to explain if you've never been into that situation.
Right.
I never, when I watched FD before I started competing in FD, and when they talked about pressure or some guys messing up, can't link the track, I'm like, come on, guys, I can do better than that. Let me jump into your car. Like, we've been slaying the parking lot, whatever tracks, at the fun event, blah. And like Brian said, you look a hero in the parking lot, or you look a hero in the fun event, because you can have about 5 really messed up runs, but you have 3, 5, 7 really sick runs, and everybody's going to remember, that was the show of the day. You know what I mean? But in the competition, you can, like, I had the best practice in Irvingdale, but I, messed up and went out in top 8. And if there was no championship for me, nobody would even remember me. It doesn't matter how good of a practice it was. It takes that one little mistake, and you're done. And it's noticeable. In the fun events, it's not noticeable. Nobody cares if you straighten out, you reinitiate it, and you keep going, and the fun continues. In the comp, you straighten out, that's it, you lost. And everybody's going to look at you like, oh, you can't drive,
Yeah.
And me and Brian, basically, fun events was getting kind of bored for us. And he almost gave up on drifting, and I started competing a little bit before, maybe season or so before him. I was like, dude, you should try competition. The feeling that you get when you get to the start line is what's going to keep that going. And he's like, I don't know. And then he tried it, and here he is. What do I feel when I come to the start line? It's crazy. The first competitions that I did, I would come to the start line, and all of a sudden I would forget how to drive. I would like, I would put my hand on the handbrake and go like, this is handbrake. This is handbrake. That's not shifter.
Yeah.
And then I put my hand on the shifter. It's like, this is shifter. This is shifter. Remember, that's shifter. This is handbrake. You know what I mean? Like, just simple stuff. And then like, all right, when he drops his hands, I gotta go. I gotta start shifting. It's like completely. It's like, I can talk 5 in front of me, no problem. When you get to 5,000 people, you got to talk in front of them. You're like, oh, my name is, and you forget your name. Very little similar situation when you drive alone in parking lots or with your friends at fun events. It's no big deal. But when you come to a competition and all of a sudden you forget, you start messing up, and you don't focus on your driving. You focus on like, oh, how am I going to, for me, it was like, man, if I'm going to do this mistake, how am I going to look, on the screen? And sure enough, I would do that mistake and look stupid. Yeah. So that's why I decided to do mostly like competition events. Doesn't matter if it's a US drift, like a Pro-Am, or some local events, or Pro 2. I tried to hit every single competition event that I was able to do. And it got more and more comfortable for me. Like, right now, obviously, after 3 years of competing, I come to the start line, and it's actually, becoming fun. You're still nervous. You still have that adrenaline going, but you get more comfortable. So that's why, like I said, and not that I really, what Brian said earlier about people like talking shit maybe about shootouts versus the whole series to earn a license. I'm gonna tell you that when I went for my first shootout, when I just bought the Z4 from Mike Alessa, and I looked like a hero on a couple events that I went to. I went there and I barely made it to top 16, and that was the end of the day for me, and I was so disappointed. And then right after that, I entered another series, and I did 4 events, a whole series, Pro-Am. I finished second, and I got my Pro 2 license. And thinking back, if I had won my shootout license, my Pro 2 license in the shootout, I would fail. Even though my first Pro 2 year wasn't that good, but anyways, I would fail even worse. It would be such a disaster for me to go into a series, because the stuff that I learned through the series going to different events. You mess up once, you have a chance on the next round. You do decent on the next round. You're looking forward to the next round, and then car preparation, maintenance, getting spares ready ahead of time and everything. Team people, how to run events. It just definitely, for me personally, that was a blessing. Fail in shootout, but do well in the series.
Yeah.
Brian probably had, and also I didn't have enough seat time. Brian had not enough seat time. We were close. He kind of see what I experienced going through the series of events, So, and we knew that we're going to travel together going into the next year into Pro 2. So, for some people, if it works for you, it works. I don't care. What I'm saying is, for me, I would feel really bad if I had won my license in the shootout,
Yeah.
But, if people had enough experience and they know what it takes to travel, get the car ready, then they can. And there is enough people that all they need is that shootout to get the license. There is some people that, they don't have to go throughout the whole series. Or maybe there's some people, there's some people can petition for a license, There's nothing wrong with that. Go get your license. I don't care that you have a license. Come to the track and prove it. In the series.
Yeah.
So I don't really like to hate on anything. I can say my opinion, what I like and what works for me. But the feeling of the competition when you come to the start line is basically why I keep coming back.
Right. And before you give your response on the same question, man, like actually what you mentioned about the petition is actually the route I'm taking, man, because I emailed the guys at Formula Drift, waiting for a response now. But also I keep it real, man. I was like, hey, man, I got these licenses back in 2016, 2015. And then I started my business literally 2 months later, and it just was like everything stopped. So I was like, hey, man, I know if it's been so much time, even though I got the pro license there, I'm willing to do whatever I have to do. So what I'm doing in a nutshell, sorry about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do MSC, D1 lights, maybe FD Japan, and then I'm going to use that to actually get the FD. So I'm again, it's weird for people to listen to or watch. Why the fuck am I doing stuff in Japan to get to the States? I'm like, dude, business wise, it's just more eyes, man. It's more. I see I play the stock markets, and you look at 1 year now it's like only worth $4, but 10 years is going to be worth 100 and whatever or whatever. Amazon stuff was whatever. So guys who play stocks know what I'm talking about. But I just think it's more of a return on investment in a nutshell. I could do the events here. And then in Japanese, I'm in the magazines and everything, Drift and Goku, but nobody buys magazines. And also, again, it's not even a race thing in Japan. It's just you're either Japanese or you're not. And it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Mexican, Chinese, whatever. You're Japanese or you're not. And they will treat you like they see I have a shop here. I do my stuff here. But they're always in the magazines because I couldn't read Japanese. They would do an article on my shop or a car. And then right at the end, they'll put like a jabbing point to show that I'm below Japanese drivers. And after that happened, the last time I told them, and I didn't talk to them for 2 years, and they recently did an article, kind of apologetic article, detailing my life in Japan and stuff like that. And it was like a 2-page spread or whatever. But I'm like, dude, you shouldn't have to talk to them and tell them, hey, it's not nice to do that. And they called me a street drifter when I had a fucking shop, and cops look at the magazines, and they called me. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Hearing some of the stuff I'm hearing from you today is, and my ignorance too. I've never seen your podcast. I looked at you the first time when Dmitry said, whatever. But that doesn't seem drifter-like, because over here in America, pretty much almost all drifters kind of get along. We help each other and everything else. So for them to be doing that,
high school, man, cool. High school.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we have a few crews around here that are tight and clicky, or a few, I travel the U.S., you know what I'm saying? Like, some people just stay at their one event. Yeah. So they get a little bit clicky, kind of, and, I might not be cool because they think my parents gave me my money and my father's in my whole life, and I've worked for everything. But people see I have a few things and think whatever. Yeah. And I don't care about that, dude. I'm here to drive. I'm not here to make friends, but no reason to be a dick. And for them to be doing that to you seems like Japan. From what I've always heard about people that go to Japan, everybody's so polite, everything's so cool, everything's so good. But maybe because you're kind of on their turf a little bit, and they're giving you cold shoulder with that.
Oh, dude, I'll let you. I got a story after you finish. You saying, man,
I'm good.
Continue what you're saying.
I got all the time in the world, so whatever you want to do.
All right. So just on that, because you hit that, man, and that's like, that's important for guys, and that's why, again, I like the podcast to go flow, because people, if you script it, you won't hit points. But you mentioned that right there with the clicks and stuff like that. Again, going back to, I hate to keep talking about it because that was like a highlight of my career. Getting my I got top 16 in my first pro event, and a car 3 weeks before the event was a shell, a chassis, nothing in it. So I had to get everything ready to go. I was putting stickers on it the night before, blew the oil cooler off the day before, and I never drove. The first time driving a car ever was in my first event competition. So it was nerve wracking.
You got a story like that too.
Dude. I know everybody got stories like that, man.
You had that where you borrowed a backpack 7.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was that's a lot of stuff that people don't know, man. Like you mentioned, it's the car, the car, the driver, the team, all that. It's like so much stuff that goes into a win. That's if you're the only guy in your team, I think it's Essa runs a really small crew of guys. You don't have a lot of crew members, and he still gets it done. So I don't the way I run my life personally, I don't need 50 dudes to do something. I run this whole shop by myself. It'd be nice to have a good helper, but it shows that you don't have to have it. But it will be times where if you got 4 or 5 dudes and they're all on the same page, they will work out. But in Japan, real quick on that, and I'll let you get back to your story. I drove Keiichi Tsuchiya, Drift King, was the judge for the event. Tsuchiya, because he's very popular in drifting, Japanese don't like him. Believe it or not, Japanese don't care for Tsuchiya-san because he gets money, he gets paid, and everything. And so I drove in that event, and my local track is a Team Orange affiliate, and Team Orange don't like Tsuchiya-san. They hate each other. Now, I don't know what it's about. I never asked about it, but I drove in this event. I come back to my local track. Guys who would talk to me a week before wouldn't even shake my hand, man. They wouldn't look at me. And I'm like, dude, like, we're all drifters, man. We're all burning tires, and we're all collectively stupid compared to the grip guys. Like, all these guys are burning tires and crashing cars and whatever. And like it's divisions everywhere in Japan. There's a bunch of teams, there's a bunch of cliques, and what they're doing is they're killing themselves. And by those guys not progressing, again, this is where FD comes in, Drift Masters come in, Australia, New Zealand. That's what Mike kind of doesn't really do a lot of stuff. He kind of doesn't like to be involved in the politics, and Japan is very political. So all the stuff that guys see, the pleasantries, it is nice here, but they're kind of, Americans will tell you to your face, you're full of shit. And I do the same thing, but Japanese won't, and they'll hide it and they'll bury it until they'll blackball you quietly, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, man. So but all of the same, man. I still love it here. It's drama everywhere. So I guess if I went to Europe, it'll be some shit there too. It's stuff everywhere. But again, at the end of the day, like you said, man, we just drifting. Competition is all that matters. As long as we can slide and do whatever, it is what it is, man. So. But yeah, man, look, like, get before, because I don't want to get too long, man. What's your guys' outlook for the season coming up overall, outside of the rule changes, the tracks that are coming up? I know it's East Coast heavy, like you said before. The guys are crying. The West Coast guys are pretty pissed, but it's like all Georgia, Atlanta, and everything, man. It's
perfect for us.
Yeah,
this is our side, so bring it.
Yeah, so are you guys looking to Are they saying anything as far as there going to be fans there, or is it still going to be the same Corona stuff, or what's going?
Everything's up in the air, but now that I think they got their agendas taken care of, and I think already the COVID cases are dropping in half or something because whatever politics. And,
yeah. So we got people storming the Capitol. They say, all right, man, you turn this shit off now, because guys are like fucking raid. They're gonna raid the White House next, and that's gonna be on the news. So yeah, dude, and then think about it, man. You guys, like, you're close to it. I'm over here, and my thing on it, all those people there, none of those guys got a car to build, because if they'd be home building that fucking car, not storming the Capitol, man. I guarantee you, none of those guys there had a project car. They wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be wasting their time. Me, I'm like, dude, I'm with my family, or I'm in a garage. I'm not at the clubs. I'm not drinking. Nothing against it, but that's not my. I just spend my time doing car stuff, man. So, yeah,
no
man.
doubt.
So, I mean, overall, man, how's on the personal side, man? How are both of you guys doing with everything going in the States business wise? Because I know Corona, I lost about 64 to 70K in revenue this past year, man. And but I also did well. This is my best year though. I don't know. It's weird. I lost money, but I made money. I don't know how that is, man.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Like some stuff's good, some stuff sucks, but you just adapt, overcome, do what you got to do.
Yeah, man. So I mean, luckily, you're both of you guys are working outside too, so you're not really dealing with people inside and stuff like that for the most part, man. So
essential.
Yeah.
Business-wise, it wasn't the best for me, and I don't care. But I spend a lot of time with my family. That's the best thing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, man, dude. I guarantee you both got families, man. We all family guys, and 7-8 years ago, I was never having kids. Now, dude, I got 3 kids and 2 twins. I got twins on the way in April, and so it's like, dude's like, man, when you gonna get staff? I'm like, dude, those are my employees for free. I'm not paying them shit. They're gonna work in the garage and everything. But yeah, dude, like now I got a family. I'll sell anything I have. There's a few things off limits because it's just kind of I need the car as a tool to, I need my car to drive in a pro event. But I got a bunch of other shit, man, that I'll sell at S13 1UZ I'm putting out today. And that's only 3 1UZ S13s in the whole Japan. So they'll tell you that the Japanese are they're very far behind, man. And stuff. LS, there's maybe 3 or 2 active LS platforms in the whole Japan. They tried it. My one guy tried it. He blew an LS7. He blew an LS2, and then he went back to the 2J. And it's because he didn't have AccuSump. And also, he was driving it like it was SR20, just banging the fuck out of the rev limiter, and it just didn't work out for him, man. And they went back. So they gave the LS a kind of a bad rep because it's new to them. They didn't know how to build it, how to tune it. And I offered some advice, and again, he was like, dude, you never won anything, whatever. They didn't take it. So I'm like, hey, dude, all right, later, man. I'm the American guy. Whatever. So, but it is what it is, dude. But anything, man. Again, man, it's the time flew, and I'd like to have you guys on again, man. Again, this is a new thing right here. I was kind of worried about, talking to both of you guys, and it's been awesome to do that stuff right there, man. Like closing out, man. You guys got any final thoughts, any final topics, or anything you want to talk about, or anything you want to ask me, or whatever?
Yeah, give me 3 minutes to go over the 3 questions I didn't get to answer.
All right, go ahead.
So you talked about people coming in and that FD was hurting for drivers. This year because of COVID, maybe. And I think for Pro 1, yes. But Pro 2, when Dmitriy did his first season, there was almost 50 drivers.
Yeah.
It's fighting for 16 spots. Yeah. So I don't buy that FD is hurting for Pro 2 drivers.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I think that maybe some of these rules are possibly to push some drivers to Pro 1. Gotcha. It's just I don't know if anybody's hit on that. And it's probably not their thing, but that's one thing that came to my mind. So that's number one. The next thing, what I think about when I'm on the line, Dmitriy was getting it into my head that I was going to be worried, and I never was before in any competitions. Not to I don't worry when I'm at the line. I just go and drive. My only concern is the car right? You know what I mean? Because I've always had car issues. I'm very consistent. I got tons of stuff to learn about left foot braking and many other things. But consistency, once I get my line, I can pretty much hit it. So I think one other thing about this year that sucked was no qualifying, because that's another strong suit that I have. So without the qualifying, you just get pinned up to whoever where the people pick the number.
Right.
So that hits on those 2 things. I can't even read my writing of what else you were talking about. But the team is so important. That's another thing, like what you saying, you're a one-man band, and that's fine. You could do it in certain things.
Yeah, but you need a team, man.
You can't get out of your car. You're not going to change your tires before a match. Get all your safety equipment on, everything else. I mean, you need a couple people to get your things right in this situation, and spares, and with everybody being so close, you bend a tire rod, that thing needs to be changed, a line, get back out there. So yeah, things get pretty crazy. That's about it.
Yeah, man, that's definitely before I get to Dmitriy, man, the counter on stuff you said, that's all true right there. And actually, again, this is I see I don't want to talk about it, but that's on my own experience. But the that event, to go back on it, guys, to kind of make sense for the guys that are looking to get into it. And this is the final thing I want to talk to you both guys about, is to any advice you would get to a guy coming up. What I would say to guys out there, again, you gotta, in motorsports and everything, man, in life, man, you gotta swallow your pride, and you can't fucking do everything. I'm a guy that likes to do everything myself, man, because I don't want to rely on anybody. And I realized in my life where it hurt me, and in the last 3 years, I've actually took some handouts. Like a guy gave me a truck, a courier, and I was like, I was gonna say no, and I was like, you know what, I'll take it, man. I paid it off, and it made my business. It kept me in business over the last year. The guy also offered to give me lifts when I didn't have lift. I was still working on the ground my first year. And he was like, hey, man, let's get a lift in there. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll take it. I paid him back in like 3 weeks. And like little shit like that, I as a person, I like to, I grew. As a team stuff, I let this one guy, because I was going to go to that one event in Nico by myself. And the guy was like, hey, man, I'll come along. And I'm like, are you serious? He came along. He did my tires for me. He did my my harness. And like this, I was able to go to the driver's meeting and not worry about the car. And when I got back, I'm like, dude, did you torque it down? Was that good? And I was kind of nervous because I never had somebody do that for me. And then I was able to relax. And I was like, dude, this is a different feeling, man. And also my car, having a trailer to bring a car to an event allowed me to really go 110%. Because I thought I was going 110%. And then when you look at the video, when you drive to an event and you drive 12 hours away, which I did, you think you're going 100%, and then my car was loaded with transmissions, everything except for the engine spare. So at the back of the car is fucking dragging like this. Kawabata's son was like, dude, you're fucking dumb for driving this far. And I broke my transmission in practice and had to drive home, just turning it off, putting it in gear, and driving like that, man. So having a truck, having a team, it allows you to really go to your full potential, man. What's you guys' thoughts on like the best?
That's some dedication right there, boy.
Right. Yeah, dude. Dude, it's so many stories that I don't got time to talk about, man. But running from the cops and back road shit and all types of shit, man. So, what would you guys? I don't want to incriminate myself, but what would you guys give? Starting with Dmitry, what would you guys give to a guy just got into, just got his first S13, whatever? What advice would you give him on the process of like, engine choice, track time, and then eventually powering up the car and everything?
You mean just for grassroots? Or?
Yeah, because I think what I'm trying to say sorry, man, I talk a little fast, being from Baltimore. What I see is a lot of guys getting right into it their first year. They want an LS, Wise Fab, and they trying to get their license in their first year of ever doing anything. And you see those guys normally hit a wall and they don't have that grit, and you never see them again. And in Japan too, that happens. Guys get a 1J S13, blah blah blah. They crash one time and you never see them again because it just takes their heart away. And I've wrecked 6 cars, and every time you wreck, it's like fuck. And then you rebuild again the next day, and you rebuild again. And everybody is not in them to after they wreck, they just kind of go away. So to start out, what would you tell a new guy what would you tell a new guy to focus on in his first year or two of drifting before going to competitions and stuff like that?
So there's a couple ways to look at. The very first thing, you have to love it. You have to love the motorsports. You have to do it for fun,
right?
And and prepare for failures. But I think if you look at from the guys who did it from early 2000s, who did it for 15 years, and they started all stock cars, they never had the Wise Fab back then.
Right.
They didn't have the V8 swaps back then. They had to struggle and learn on those stock cars, and they slowly progressed. They made the kits that's available now for swaps and everything, and then they came out with Wise Fab or any other stuff that gives you a lot of angle. And now that they have that, they can drive the big car, right? But still, they don't drive the shallow angle anymore, as if they had the stock angle. Even though they talk about it sometimes, keep it stock, stay away from YSAB and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't been in this sport for 15 years, and I understand if I had and I struggled through this, and then I see somebody came up that, everything is ready for them, the blueprints are there. Just take it and do it, do a simple swap, put the simple suspension setup, whatever the angle, blah, 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 and go drive out there. It would probably hurt me a little bit, like maybe in a good way, in a bad way, whatever, So, but how I started, I basically started driving a stock BMW Z3. It was 3.0, whatever, close to 200 horsepower maybe. I drove it for about 2-3 events, completely stock, nothing done to it. And then once I thought that I finally can drive it, that very same event, I totaled the car. I stopped it. So right after that, I put a full suspension on it, SLR kit, did the e-brake so it works good, got it the car, and took out all the extra parts that I don't need, bumpers, headlights, and all that stuff. And that's when I started driving like I stole the car, like I didn't kill the car. And I drove like that for 2 years. Obviously, end of the season, the first season we caged the car, and then next season I was able to tandem and blah 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 and have fun. But it was still stock power, just a lot of angle basically, so I didn't spin out and stuff like that. For the beginners, like I said again, no, unless you're gonna participate in like a street legal series where they don't allow maybe YSFAB and SLR, a lot of angle in any stops, and you want to daily your car, yeah, go ahead, keep it stock and drive forever like that, But if you're trying to get into, Pro AM, let's say Pro AM and then Pro 2 and that level, why? I don't understand. Maybe some people can explain it better, but for me, if you can afford, if you can, go ahead, get the car, that you think will be the tools that you'll be using later on, start learning them now.
Right.
Obviously, not an FD spec car because tires and maintenance and everything keep up with the car is going to be expensive. But again, if you can afford it, go ahead. It's your money. It's not mine. But a lot of seat time, and start up to your ability, how much you can afford.
Right.
For me, I learned the most in my failures and my losses. Every time you win, you're just excited, you're happy, you move on, you keep going.
Right.
Every time you lose, you sit down and you review it, you look at it, you study it until the next event in the month or something, and you watch it, you think about it, and you learn every single mistake. Why did I lose? Why did I lose? And for me, it was learning to accept failures and learn from it. Of course, you said, you have to swallow your pride.
Yeah.
But, just got to keep it fun, and you got to love the sport.
Gotcha.
So
man. Solid. And Brian, what's your thoughts on the same question?
I would say basically the same exact thing he said. I get the reasons of keeping things kind of simple, and that makes sense. You want a solid car, but if you have a car and you have something you like, you need a good seat that holds you in.
Yeah.
There's plenty of rule books to check out. And, for me, I don't wrench at all. I don't do any type of wrenching. I'll try to do stuff and I learn a little bit, but it's just not my thing. I don't have the time for it. My time is much more valuable spent somewhere else. So for me, it was just buy something that was already proven and done. I did it when I bought my first drift car, was A group ready, but it was just an SR. So I didn't go through too many tires, but I didn't even know anything about that then. The car was $6 or $7 grand. It was 100% done, ready to go with spares, all set. So I just bought it, got in it, and I was basically A group after the first day, at least at most places around here.
Gotcha.
A good working e-brake. For somebody getting into it that's just getting into it, you just need an e-brake. Not even, whatever, anything. Start with anything. Shit, like I said, I started Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Open a lot of Monte Carlo. Hang it sideways. Do whatever you want. That's it.
Your Monte Carlo, was it an SS or what version was it?
So I did have an SS, but my first one wasn't an SS. It was just a standard. I mean, I was actually 15 years old, bought it with my own money, and just did a few things to it. And like I said, when people were burning out in the parking lot just in a straight line, I'm like, screw this. Started going around the telephone poles and everything else. Went through a whole set of tires. I was like, damn, that went quick.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Again, man, it's impossible to even. I mean, I know you guys been through so much shit to get to this point in your life, man, and like if you guys, man, what's your guys? How old are you guys? What's your age?
I'm 35.
35. Yeah.
38.
38. Yes. So yeah, man, so we're fucking like almost in the same because I'm 37. I turned 38 in March, and so man, it's like we're almost like in the same, like we've grown up together, apart, and then like we meet here, man. So that's why I like this. That's why my podcast, man. It was funny as shit to meet Dmitry when you posted up on the Maximus. man, I won a championship just to get on your fucking podcast. You guys have hit me up yet? I was dying laughing. I know Brian and Paco and all those guys, man. And I asked you a while ago, and they seem like they're trying to revamp because they found what works for them. And I'm not knocking those guys that they watch. I know those dudes. When they found their formula, which was pretty much the Pro 1 guys. So my thing was, I'm doing opposite. I'm going to talk to all the Pro 2 guys, because to be honest, man, like, I don't like the, yeah, JR is good and Forsberg is good and all those guys are good or whatever, man. But to kind of keep putting those same faces out there when it's my network, I'm going to talk to whoever I want to talk to, and out there, man, I'll talk to anybody who want to be on the podcast, man. I don't like the thing. Super Street did it to me, and a few other guys did it to me where they're like, oh, well, you're not hot enough yet, and then they contact me back 2 years later, and I told them no thanks, because I'm like, dude, if you're gonna disrespect me when you think I'm nothing and you think I got something now, I can ship you a car now, like, fuck that, man. And that's my personality, and that's why, even if you guys didn't win a championship, I still would have talked to you, because I'm gonna go down the whole roster and talk to everybody and get everybody's own feelings and opinions on what happened and went down, because everybody's situation is going to be different. Everybody's financial thing is different, and everybody's ideals is different, man. So I think that's why I like drifting personally, because we all do the same shit, man. We all go sideways for a clipping point or whatever, but we all kind of get there a little bit different. Like a little, you may hold the brake and e-brake at the same time. I might just chuck it in, whatever. So that's why I like drifting, man. So besides drifting, though, any other we mentioned we hit into. Did you guys do any other motorsports in parallel to it, like any time attack, grip, or just strictly drifting?
A little bit of drag racing, okay. Back in the day. If you're asking about now,
yeah, now, currently, yeah.
Wintertime here, I do some snowboarding. Got the kids ripping on snowboards. I got snowmobiles, quads. All the toys, dirt bike, street bike. Just extreme sports. You know what I mean? Gotcha. Pedal bike. I race pedal bikes a little bit. Whatever. Just adrenaline.
Yeah, I snowboard a little bit here too. We're right, dude. Like I said, when you come here, if you come here, man, let's
go.
Like Sean, like I got Sean White and all, like Sean White and all the guys. They go to. Say again.
Let's go. How is your passport, Brian? Is it good?
Of course it is.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm serious, man. Like I've had so far four guys come over from the States, man. They show up. I got the truck. I got the cars. They're not like, of course, some of the cars are like, they're just like fun cars. So it's not going to be crazy power, 400 horsepower, just something basic. But I got cars ready, man. You just pretty much show up, man, and I'll take care of you guys. As far as snowboarding, like you just mentioned there, man, we have the mountains here, dude. People fly from Europe or whatever to board here, and it's $50 for me for a day pass. And I'm in back. I got trail. I got back mountains. I've snowboarding, man. My first day I was fucking hooked. And I'm like, dude, this is like drifting standing up and shit, man. And so I got about 4 or 5 boards. I ride Burtons mostly, and I got like force boards, park boards. I ride a 150, like a 159.
Am I gonna fit your boots? That's what I want to know.
Shit, boots like 11 and a half or something like that.
All right, I'll squeeze in that. Yeah, let's go.
So I got the dude. That's another thing too. Fucking Japan, everybody's size foot is like an 8. So dude, like you can't find shit. You got the clothes, like everything you need. If you wear extra large in America, you got to get a XXX here. It's ridiculous, dude, man. So anyway, man, like I just open the door to anybody who wants to come over and check things out. I'm no bullshit, man. If you guys are when you're ready to come over here, just let me know. If you want to do a competition or whatever stuff like that, I have the organization on exporting in or out cars, all that stuff, man. So I just pride myself on having a good network of guys, and I just keep the bullshit out, and I just keep all the good stuff in, and all my guys, we do all that stuff. So I did tell you, I didn't want to seem like I was negative to you guys talking about the Japan stuff. That's just what it is. But it doesn't bother me. It doesn't stop me. It's my 5th year in business, and I can't be responsible or feel bad for guys who feel like I should be lower than them because I've only been here 12 years and they've been here 30 years. And I'm like, dude, it's not my problem, man. I just work hard, what I mean? And we get the results there, man. So again, man, any closing statements, man? I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. I know this is our second time closing it out, but again, it's a good conversation, man. You guys are great guys, man.
You guys talk about your snowboarding thing, and I'll talk about my snowmobiling thing. That's what I do in the off season.
I'm actually looking at buying one, man. Like I looked.
Yeah, no, I fly out West Coast to Washington State. That's where my parents and my brother sister live. So I fly out there. Try to go maybe every 2-3 weeks or so, and we go ride like in a real like mountains. We climb
man.
Deep hills. So like Chris Brown, 509 Films, they do that stuff. That's what we do, like a really professional climbing, basically.
Yeah.
Like the longest snowmobiles, the biggest snowmobiles. And so we do some real style like backcountry, off trail riding. That's what I do in the off season.
What kind of snowmobile? What's the specs on your snowmobile per se?
Well, we ride ski-doos.
Okay.
Most of our guys we ride ski-doos, and mine is 2018, and because I don't live there, I fly out there and ride. I ride the least out of all of them. So mine is the oldest, but everybody else has got 2021, the brand new turbo snowmobiles with upgraded tracks, the longest tracks you can get possibly. And we go in the really deep snow and high mountains.
Yeah, man. The reason I want to get one is because, again, I've been here 12 years, and the snow is just between November and April. It snows here where I'm at. It's the snowiest, one of the snowiest cities in the world. And I'm a black dude from Baltimore, man, and like we don't like cold weather. I mean, to be honest, dude. And like, dude, I'm outside with a fucking mohawk and a t-shirt shoveling snow, and I'm used to it now. Like I've never could go outside without a hat, and now I'm outside with a fucking mohawk, removing snow because your hair start getting hot and your fucking hat's all sweaty and soggy and everything. And so I was looking at snowmobiles actually about 2 weeks ago just to ride around my lot, just to move tires and shit around. And they're about $3,000. Some of them have like port jobs and things. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, but it starts up and runs, and it's like I don't know how to. I've been transported on a car carrier, so I don't know how.
If you're gonna ride like around your shop on the trails and stuff like that, you don't need anything crazy. As long as it starts and runs, that's all you need. They'll as long as it's a branded like Yamaha Polaris.
Yamaha Polaris is the top ones, and also my track. My track again, even while it's snowing, they never close. Like so, right now they just had snow drifting yesterday, so they let the full body so they want to make money, so they just let anybody go out there. I mean, a Hi-Ace, a van, or anything snowmobile. So they have snowmobiles for about a session, and then they'll have the Jimneys, the Samurais out there rolling over and shit, and then they'll have Subarus and everybody. So it's a Subaru Outback chasing the S13, and it's just like there's no walls hits because all the walls will have about a 3-foot section of snow in front of it. So you maybe crack a headlamp, bust a grill, but you're good to go, man. So it's all year round here, dude. All year. So no matter what time you guys get here, we can drift no matter what. It's too easy. I got the trucks, I got the cars. You just got to bring your international license, and you guys are good to go.
I'll be there.
All right, man. So good. Hey, man. Again, guys, man, great to talk to you guys. It's like 1:00 here now. I got to get out of here and play with some cars myself. And I'm trying to get ready for this season, man. It's already 2021. I still ain't got my cars ready yet, so I'm behind. And I got the first events for here. What's the first events for you guys? Real quick, what's your next event drift wise? You got coming up?
Maybe clutch kickers. What are we doing, Dmitry?
Well, the truck is still in California because we left it there after the end of season FD. So we're actually planning. We're just talking to him yesterday with Brian. We're gonna fly out West Coast. Maybe we're gonna hit snowmobiling. Then we're gonna fly to California, pick up the truck. We're gonna go to Willow Springs, spend a day, driving together, having fun, and then bring the truck over here to East Coast. And then we'll see. If we're not gonna hit any clutch kickers event, we're definitely gonna start coming to English Town, New Jersey, and doing some private days, practicing, just getting behind the wheel and basically getting some seat time.
Got you, man. That's too awesome, man. Like I said, there's always stuff to do, man, out there, man. But again, guys, I got actually
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I know about the clutch kickers and the that's the purses. They're like 10 grand.
10 grand first.
Yeah,
dude, 10 grand first, 5 grand per second.
Yeah, I seen. Like I said, I keep up to date with most of the stuff over there. I was just talking to Mike Pollard actually about an hour ago. He's going to be on the podcast, and he's running the clutch kicker series and everything. So yeah, man, it's like a lot of drifting out there. It's no excuse for guys out there to not be at some kind of event. So those days are over where the events were 3 months, 3 months apart. They're now it seems like almost every week.
Every week you can find an event to go.
Man. So, but yeah, man, I got speaking on that business. I got a delivery truck that's pulled up with an Evo 5. So I got to go out there and play in the snow and everything, man. But again, guys, it's been great. If you guys want to come on again to promote whatever, separately or individually, we could definitely do that, man. So I look forward to talk to you guys again. Good. And I'll put the I'll message you guys offline about the release dates and all that stuff like that, and the links and all that stuff like that, so you'll be up to speed. So again, guys, out there, this is going to be Donnie signing off from Masawa Japan. I got again Dmitriy Brutskiy, and we got Brian Wadman, correct? Wadman or Wadman?
Yep.
Wadman. So I got the guys there, and then also I'll put their Instagram and stuff down there, the links. You guys, as I said before, Drifting Goku, I am a dealer for him. Even though I was talking bad about him because he made a mistake. But anyway, you can get subscriptions through me. So you want to get the whole year 2020, I'll cut that in half to about like $180 and ship them all out. If you want to get a new subscription 2021, just go ahead and check the website out at PinkuStyleStore.com. If you got any questions or anything you want to add, or anybody want to be on the podcast, just shoot me your story at download@PinkuStyle.com or podcast at PinkuStyle.com, and I'll get back to you and everything. Again, it doesn't matter to me like who you are or whatever, man. I just want to talk to all my guys out there and get your story and share your story around, because again, I didn't know, Brian, and we didn't know each other, and Dmitry, we all just met first time. So
now I'm coming out to see you. So
anybody, man, it's open to anybody who wants to come over here and play. Because I got dudes that been here and they never been to my shop because whatever, they think I'm too hardcore or this, that, and the other. I'm like, dude, whatever, dude. Just show up or whatever.
Japanese.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm right by the military base, so most of my customers are Americans. Japanese are still afraid. They don't trust the American to work on their car. So I told dudes I gotta win D1 championship, and then I'll be able to change their oil. That's how they think. If I win a championship, I'm good enough to change it.
How do you communicate when you go out?
I speak a little bit of Japanese, just speak enough to get around. So, and most of the car stuff is the same type of deal and everything, so it's not too much different. And my wife's Japanese, okay. Yeah, I got a Google translator in my pocket and everything, so she does all that, man. So, but yeah, man. Again, I'll talk to you guys again. I got to get outside, check that out. Again, guys, thanks tremendously for your time. Again, Dmitry, congrats on the season. Brian, I look forward to following you in a come up and everything and stuff like that. And definitely, man, I consider guys I talk to, once you talk to them, man, anytime you need anything from here, just let me know. And then I do a lot of shit, but I also know a lot of different guys. So if I can't get it done, I know the guys that can get it done without fluffing stuff up. We're not going to get no 2Js for $8,000 for just the block only. I see all that crap going on over there in the States, man, the Corona sales, and shit costs money, but not raping nobody, man. So again, guys, thank you again. Guys that are listening and watching, thank you for tuning in, giving us your time. This is going to be Donnie signing off from Masawa Japan. See you guys later. Pinku Style out.
Later.
got a bye run in the first battle. He's going to be seeing Nick Novak. It is an all BMW battle. Can he take him out? It is Dmitriy Brutskiy.